What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss what's going on with Conor McGregor and UFC 303. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly and help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. If you haven't been paying any attention into the MMA media recently, Conor McGregor has gone ghost. There was the press conference for UFC 303 in Dublin that got mysteriously canceled. And since then, Dana White has been silent. The UFC has rather been silent. Conor McGregor has rather been silent. He did make some post about saying that there was things out of their control that didn't allow it to happen, that there was multiple obstacles. But that was just cryptic words for bullshit, right? And with all this going on, the UFC has since pulled their free fight videos of Conor McGregor from YouTube. So now they're no longer available for free. And I think that they took all their ESPN ads and promotions off. So, I mean, that's a pretty gloomy forecast for the future of this matchup here at UFC 303. I think he's hurt. I think it's pretty clear that there's an injury. And basically what they're trying to do now, because if it was bullshit, if there was nothing wrong and the fight was still on, we would have definitely have heard something by now, at least by Dana White. He would have said fake news, bullshit. He would have come out and said something, right? I think Conor, and I think Chandler as well. And Chandler even had kind of like a somewhat of a cryptic post on Instagram as well. You could definitely tell he's frustrated. I'd be pissed as fuck too, man. I mean, the guy's been waiting 2 years for the best payday of his life, and it's still just won't fucking happen. And it just, God, I gotta feel for that guy at this moment. But nonetheless, I think he's hurt, right? And with what's going on, I think that before announcing that the fight is off, why, like, with all the money that's invested in this, it's like all the fans paying for everything. How in the fuck, like, you have to have some sort of replacement ready. I don't think they had a replacement fight set up at that time. So now they're kind of scrambling to figure out what's going to happen and how they're going to move forward if Conor is really hurt. And I think the radio silence is kind of more telling than anything, right? Now moving forward, if Conor's out and they're keeping Chandler on the card and trying to find a new fight for him, Max Holloway seems to be a bit of the front runner. His status, his name. There's not many guys out there that could headline UFC 303 and make sense at the pedigree as which it is at the moment. A name like Max Holloway, I think he's the front runner. They're obviously going to have to pay him up the ass because he had that UFC 300 war with Justin Gaethje not that long ago. Also, some other names I was kind of thinking of. I had three other names kind of on my mind. Two a little bit crazy. One I think makes a lot of sense. One that is a little crazy just because of the timing. I think Alexander Volkanovski. I think he even said too that he was joking that he wanted to be like the backup for the McGregor fight. I think that Volk, I think him being a former champion, one of the featherweight goats, he fits right in. But with him having the 2 knockout losses and him losing the belt most recently to Topuria pretty recently, that's kind of where it comes into question. But with it being at 170, a fat paycheck, but man, Chandler's a hungry dog. But I that's a challenge I could see Volkanovski taking. Do I think it's a smart one? Not necessarily for him, just because of the timing and how much damage he's accumulated recently, right? My third pick, Charles Oliveira. I think a rematch with Charles. I think with him being a former champion, we haven't seen him fight since his fight with Sarukian. I don't think Sarukian. I just don't think he's a big enough name. I don't think that's would work to headline UFC 303. But I think a name like Charles Oliveira, a rematch, would make a lot of sense. Him being a former champion and just his name, just the star power that Oliveira brings in itself, and then them having a rematch, even at 170, just because of the timing, I think would be a fun fight, and I think that would be worth headlining UFC 303. And then last but not least, I know I'm crazy here, but Ilia Topuria. I know. But with where he is at, I know that he had talked about where he wanted to go moving forward. And I just think that, hey, you call him, you pay him a bunch of money, he doesn't have to cut any weight. He probably would have to put on a pound or two, right? So I know that it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for him to do it, but I think to get a name at that pedigree, because like I don't think guys like I just don't think I think Gaethje's gonna be taking the time off. I don't think you can get a guy like Dan Hooker, Tiago, Rafael Fiziev, Renato Moicano. I don't think that the UFC is gonna have those guys. I don't think Moicano is right there to like headline a UFC 303 event, you know. So I think that just because of star power alone, Topuria makes a lot of sense. I think that he also offers probably a significant speed advantage towards Chandler. I mean, Chandler. I mean, he has a loss to Patricio Pitbull in Bellator, who's a featherweight. So I mean, I just don't think I'm crazy thinking that. I mean, maybe I am, but I think Ilia Topuria, I think, could be a huge dark horse into the running of saving UFC 303. That is if Conor McGregor truly is hurt, or if something else is going on behind the scenes where he cannot compete, right? But nonetheless, like I'm gonna try and be an optimist and hope that everything's okay, because I want to see Conor compete, and I want to see him fight Chandler, and I want to see Chandler get his fight against Conor, because I think that this is horrible for Chandler. I mean, like he definitely has the leverage on the UFC now for sure. If he wants to, like, he can have his pick of whatever he wants at this point. But honestly, I think he just wants a fight. I think he just wants a Conor McGregor fight, you know. So whoever Chandler fights, I think he's going to be prepared for to the maximum. But I don't think that there's many names out there because of where the fight is and kind of how it was supposed to play out and just how they're going to be able to sell that fight. I think those four names: Holloway, Volkanovski, Oliveira rematch, and Ilia Topuria. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you guys enjoy the video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. Help the channel grow. That's going to do it for today, guys. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.